Have you thought about yourself today? I mean, really thought about yourself. I know it may be hard to imagine thinking about or doing something for yourself, but it is essential to your health and well-being. ReClaimed is committed to your health and well-being by teaching a therapeutic process of helping you rewrite your story. Because you may or may not know this, but you feel the way you think. This upcoming 17-minute video will explain how you can change limiting beliefs into limitless beliefs so you can reclaim your life. If you don't have 17 minutes to watch the video, you can just fast forward through it and watch it later on our website at selfreclaimed.com.
Once upon a time, a butterfly named Zoe lighted on a branch next to a caterpillar named Cleo, and the two struck up a conversation. Quickly, Zoe could see that Cleo needed a friend, as he seemed a little sad. So she started sharing her self-reclaimed experiences with him. Cleo couldn't imagine any of the foreign concepts that his new friend was attempting to explain. But Zoe knew the joy of arriving as a butterfly and continued sharing the details of her transformation within her chrysalis. Although Cleo resisted and complained, the newly enlightened Zoe was courageous and spoke her truth. She remembered being a caterpillar not long ago and was determined to help Cleo rewrite his story too.
Without change, I wouldn't be here. The miraculous process of how I became a butterfly starts as a caterpillar, just like you. Think of it in terms of transforming your current life in order to make way for a new one. Our Odyssey reminds us that new growth cannot occur unless the old is shed.
I'll never have wings like you, Zoe. I couldn't possibly be a butterfly.
Of course you can. It just requires knowledge, action, and patience. The transformation of a caterpillar into a butterfly takes place in the chrysalis, which symbolizes abandoning the beliefs that hold you down to the ground, to move into a life that gives you wings to fly.
I don't want to change. I'm good just the way I am.
Wasn't it you I just heard complaining about how hard it was to be a caterpillar when I fluttered up here? I believe I heard something about always having to watch for birds and falling from high branches. I don't think you're happy at all. I think you're stuck. Listen to this quote from Reinhold Niebuhr, Cleo. Change is the essence of life. Be willing to surrender what you are for what you want to become.
But what if I'm afraid to change?
It doesn't have to be scary, silly. Let me explain. Inside your chrysalis, you will learn that the thoughts, attitudes, and beliefs you hold have a big effect on the way you interpret the world around you and how you feel. The flutter exercises within your chrysalis will give you the ability to experience new strategies and techniques to help you transform those beliefs. Plus, you will be given guided instructions on how to rewrite your story using positive psychology, cognitive behavior therapy, and bibliotherapy. Isn't that exciting? You get to rewrite your story so you can become a butterfly.
Biblio who? Cognitive what?
Let me give you a little background about these techniques. You may not be familiar with them, but trust me, they really help. Positive psychology is the study of how we prosper in the face of adversity. Two really smart scientists define positive psychology as the scientific study of positive functioning and flourishing on multiple levels that include the biological, personal, relational, institutional, cultural, and global dimensions of life. A fundamental principle of positive psychology is that therapists don't fix problems. They assist in achieving happier, richer, and more whole lives, which is the premise behind cognitive behavior therapy. One of the essential components to the success of cognitive behavior therapy is to help you change negative thinking as a way to change how you feel. It's actually been around since the ancient Greeks. The classic story of Plato's cave is the perfect illustration of mistaking appearance for reality. The idea that our perceptions determine the reality we experience was clearly a focus of Plato's idealism. In this story, Socrates described how a group of men, chained to a wall, observed shadows dancing across the wall in front of them. They didn't know that these shadows were due to figures near the entrance of the cave moving behind them in front of a candle. To these men, the shadows were reality. One day, one of the men turned around and saw that there were shapes moving behind him, casting their shadows on the wall. From that day on, the reality of the shadows no longer existed. Reality can now be defined as the figures one sees outside the cave, nothing more, nothing less. Cognitive behavior therapy helps one see outside the cave through a process of unlearning and relearning.
Oh, it's kind of like when I see a shadow on the branch and get scared, thinking it's a bird coming to eat me. But when I turn around, I see that it's just a cloud moving by.
Yes, you're getting it. Cognitive behavior therapy also aims to teach you how to identify, evaluate, and respond to dysfunctional thoughts and beliefs through goal-oriented and solution-focused directives. It emphasizes the present moment through techniques that change thinking, mood, and behavior. It educates and teaches you how to be your own therapist.
What about that biblio stuff?
It's biblio, meaning books. Bibliotherapy is a key ingredient to the cognitive behavior therapy educational training process. It incorporates a philosophy of self-efficacy and user empowerment. According to Johns Hopkins School of Education, the use of literature in this way can be traced far back in history to the days of the first libraries in Greece. The first documented use of bibliotherapy as an intervention technique was recorded in 1840.
You expect me to believe that I can change just by reading a book? I've known lots of caterpillars that read, and they're no better off than me. That sounds crazy.
It's not that you read, it's what you read, Cleo. Some of the world's greatest minds were and are readers, but they read books that expand their mind, not limit it. It may not be a face-to-face encounter, but Dr. Neil Froude calls it magic. He says the best books give the illusion of listening and caring because authors, who are also clinicians, can draw on years of experience interacting with people to leave each reader saying, "Wow, that book was about me."
I guess I can give it a try. But how will I know what books to read?
As you make your way through the transformational process within your chrysalis, book prescriptions will be noted on the outside of each pocket, respective to that word or concept you will be working through. You can think of it as textual healing.
Textual healing? That's funny. I don't think that's what Marvin Gaye had in mind.
Who's Marvin Gaye?
You know, when I get that feeling, I want textual healing. Get it? Textual healing. Textual healing, baby, is good for me. You still don't get it?
Okay, well, just know that reading can provide an environment to help change belief systems that are holding you back. Mark Twain appreciated the power of reading and said, "The man who doesn't read books has no advantage over the man who can't read them."
So, my beliefs are what keep me stuck as a caterpillar? I really would love to be a butterfly. I just don't...
Do you want to reclaim your life, Cleo? If you want to be a butterfly, you must change your limiting beliefs. Buckminster Fuller said that 99.9999% of what affects our reality is undetectable by our senses. So we must all learn to think for ourselves rather than blindly believe what we've been taught. Our beliefs are simply the thoughts we keep thinking until they become our reality. The meaning that we assign these beliefs helps to determine our destiny. In fact, many live their whole lives unaware of how their beliefs are affecting their feelings, thoughts, and actions. Think about it this way. Most of what you hear is only an opinion. Much of what you see, merely a perspective. Neither is necessarily truth nor fact. It becomes truth or fact when you decide it is. Rewrite your beliefs and you rewrite perception. Rewrite perception and you rewrite genes and behavior. Have you ever heard of Dr. Bruce Lipton? He says the new science of epigenetics has shown that our genes are controlled and manipulated by how our minds perceive and interpret our environment.
Well, what's a gene?
Well, let me see if I can explain. Each of the trillions of cells in our bodies contain thousands of genes. Genes carry the information that determine your traits. These are features or characteristics passed on to you or inherited from your parents and their parents and their parents and so on down the line. It was formerly believed by science that it is our genes themselves that dictate our traits, that our genes form who we are. The new findings are great news because it means that we can change many things about the way we are, including our health, by changing how we interpret events and situations which happen to us. This science proves that we are no longer victims of our genes. Dr. Lipton says that the moment you change your perception is the moment you rewrite the chemistry of your body.
Zoe, I really don't want to be on the ground anymore.
If like attracts like, and as you think so you create is a universal truth, then you must focus on what you want, not on what you don't want, because there is a huge difference. Either way, your beliefs are your reality, and eventually your beliefs materialize, good or bad. So you must focus on what you do want, not on what you don't want. As you move forward in your journey and transformation, I want to share a mantra you can say to yourself if the journey becomes challenging or if you feel stuck. Remember this, Cleo. At any given moment, you have the power to say, "This is not how my story is going to end."
I really do want to change my story, Zoe. But are you telling me it's going to be hard? Really, really hard?
I won't promise you that this transformation will always be easy, but what I will promise you is that it will be worth it when you arrive as your new self. There will be some hard realizations, some painful memories, and perhaps a tear or two as you leave the old you behind. Keep in mind the goal of this program is to help you rewrite your story. But before you do that, you must first consciously acknowledge all the old chapters, all the painful chapters. Recognizing the patterns that got you to where you are today is the first step in being free from not repeating them. Staying in the same mindset will only bring about the same results.
I really need to believe differently to move ahead, don't I, Zoe?
Yes, and there will be lots of tools to use throughout your self-reclaimed journey to help you along the way. Cleo, all personal breakthroughs begin with a change in beliefs. The most effective way to make this shift is to get your brain to connect massive pain to a limiting belief. You must feel deep down in your gut that not only has this belief cost you pain in the past, it's costing you right now, and ultimately bringing you pain in the future. Then you must learn to associate immense pleasure to the thought of accepting a new, empowering belief.
Pain in my gut? Do you mean a stomach ache?
No, not in this case. But did you know that there are many physical symptoms that are tied to your thoughts, feelings, and emotions? If you feel the way you think, and you think negatively or have limiting beliefs, what do you think happens to you physically? Your mind and mental state can have a profound effect on your physical self, your spiritual experience, and your overall quality of life, whether good or bad. The mind, the body, and the spirit are all harmoniously interconnected. Statistics show that 75 to 95% of all ailments are stress-related and can be directly attributed to one's lifestyle choices.
Zoe, now I know I really want to be a butterfly. But I'm scared my old thoughts will creep back in while I'm in my chrysalis. I'm so worried that I might get sick because of my negative beliefs. How will I ever become a butterfly if I'm too scared to change? I don't think I can do this. What will other people think? Where will I ever begin? I'm just too far gone. I don't want to try and fail like I always do.
What you just said is a great example of focusing on what you don't want instead of putting your energy into getting the result you do want.
So I should have said I want to be healthy so I can keep my body in shape and believe that to be the truth? I don't know why I said it wrong.
Cleo, it's not about being wrong. You're simply in the habit of focusing on the negative versus the positive. That's a part of what we've been talking about, changing your belief system to get you from where you are to where you want to be.
I think I'm ready to get started, Zoe. I've made up my mind. I'm going to be a butterfly. Where do I start?
That's the beauty of your self-reclaimed transformation, Cleo. You can start anywhere you want. All of it is equally important to your metamorphosis. Remember, the goal is to change limiting beliefs into limitless beliefs so you can rewrite your story. But be patient and keep in mind that some of your limiting beliefs may come to mind easily and quickly, while others may slowly emerge throughout your transformational process. It takes some time, so don't get frustrated with yourself. Take all the time you need to work through your old beliefs.
Okay, Zoe. I'm going to grab my pencil and get started. I'll see you on the other side. Hope you recognize me. And thanks, Zoe, for believing in me.
You're welcome, Cleo. I'll be waiting for your arrival. Cleo, you're so beautiful. How do you feel?
I feel free.
You are free, Cleo, but you were free all along. You just didn't believe you were.
I've rewritten my story. So now what?
Cleo, I'm so proud of what you've accomplished. I knew you could do it. You just had to believe you could. Now go fly. Start living your rewritten story and share it with others. It's not the end. It's just the beginning.
And they began living happily ever after. The beginning.
Reaching the beginning means change. The symbolism of a caterpillar transforming into a butterfly is a quick, easy illustration that clearly represents the true beauty of change. I'm sure you're probably already feeling a little anxious or fearful, maybe a little stressed. Most people do when they hear the word change. But if you think of a butterfly, it's pretty hard to imagine that this beautiful creature wouldn't exist without it. So what stirs up these emotions or feelings? Beliefs. Let's think about what Zoe said. Our beliefs are simply the thoughts we keep thinking until they become our reality. The meaning that we assign these beliefs helps determine our destiny. In fact, many live their whole lives unaware of how their beliefs are affecting their feelings, thoughts, and actions. Think about it this way. Most of what you hear is only an opinion. Much of what you see merely a perspective. Neither is necessarily truth nor fact. It becomes truth or fact when you decide it is. Rewrite beliefs and you rewrite perception. Rewrite perception and you rewrite genes and behavior. So what puny rope holds you back? It's probably nothing more than a belief. Think about this. If a belief is nothing more than a story you keep telling yourself over and over, the beginning is just on the other side of rewriting your story. And if the beginning leads to freedom, the word change now takes on new meaning. Self-Reclaimed teaches you how to embrace change, so the feelings associated with this word turn into happiness, enlightenment, empowerment, and contentment, the beauty of change. Science shows that most of our decisions, actions, emotions, and behavior depend on 95 to 99% of brain activity that is beyond our conscious awareness, which means that 95 to 99% of our life comes from the programming in our subconscious mind. So as soon as you forget to be conscious, the unconscious is back in charge again. How much time do you spend unconscious? In order to make any change, you must be conscious and mindful, because you can't change what you aren't conscious of. This next video will further explain.
This is a test of selective attention. Count how many times the players wearing white pass the basketball. How many passes did you count? The correct answer is 15 passes. But did you see the gorilla? This video is from research by Daniel Simons and Christopher Chabris and is copyrighted. It is available for use in talks, training, and teaching on DVDs from VisCog Productions. Learn more at theinvisiblegorilla.com.
So did you see the gorilla? Stats show that 50% do not see it. This experiment reveals two things. We are missing a lot of what goes on around us, and we have no idea that we're missing so much. So ask yourself, what else do I miss every day but believe I'm completely aware of? You must be conscious of your beliefs in order to change them. The gorilla in the room isn't what you might think it is. The gorilla in the room is the belief system. The behavior can be seen and recognized, like counting the white shirts bouncing the ball, the obvious. The gorilla is the belief system that led to the behavior, good or bad. Self-ReClaimed addresses belief systems and provides tools to change limiting beliefs into limitless beliefs. This system teaches you how to break the cycle and rewrite your story. Self-ReClaimed helps make the invisible visible using 3 very successful therapies: positive psychology, cognitive behavior therapy, and bibliotherapy. Let's start with positive psychology, which is the scientific study of the strengths and virtues that enable individuals and communities to thrive. The field is founded on the belief that people want to lead meaningful and fulfilling lives to cultivate what is best within themselves. It's about strength over weakness, function over dysfunction, and asking the question, what's right, instead of what's wrong. Take a look at this graph. Is it surprising to you that 38.5% of people describe the good life as developing their personal strengths? Research shows that valuing the development of personal strengths and contribution to others are linked to the well-being people actually experience, according to Psychology Today. Next is cognitive behavior therapy, or CBT, which emphasizes the present moment, which is what's right now. The flow chart shows how your moods and emotions influence your thoughts and actions, which influences the quality of your life, which influences your moods and emotion, and the cycle continues. CBT emphasizes collaboration and active participation. It is goal-oriented, solution-focused, and educative, essentially teaching you to be your own therapist. CBT is structured and directive, including homework assignments like bibliotherapy, mood logs, experiments, and journaling. It helps you identify, evaluate, and respond to your dysfunctional thoughts and beliefs. It uses a variety of techniques to change thinking, mood, and behavior. Lastly is bibliotherapy, which is a form of supportive psychotherapy in which carefully selected reading materials are used to assist in solving personal problems or for other therapeutic purposes. It's books on prescription. In essence, free therapy when you take your book prescription to the library. So many people tell me, that book was written just for me. Here's some stats from Fast Reader that might surprise you. What % of adults have not been in a bookstore in the past 5 years? That's right, 70%. How many U.S. families do you think did not buy a book in the last year? 80%. Can you imagine going an entire year without reading a book? I can't. This therapeutic combination can be an effective treatment for a wide variety of disorders, such as anger, depression, personality disorders, anxiety disorders, eating disorders, binge eating disorders, sleep disorders, chronic pain, chronic fatigue syndrome, obesity, colitis, and compulsivity, just to name a few. The Boston Globe reports, more recently, insurers' interest in cutting costs and researchers' interest in protocols that can be measured and replicated have combined to nudge treatment towards short-term, standardized methods such as cognitive behavior therapy. Books take this trajectory to its logical conclusion. Did you know that the gold standard treatment for binge eating is CBT? So if you are a person who's struggled to either lose weight or keep the weight off, Self-ReClaimed teaches you new ways of thinking about food. Speaking of thinking, listen to this brief video that describes our self-tagline, "You feel the way you think."
When people accept that there might be another answer, transformation begins to happen.
What is making the decisions which lead to our acquiring a specific disease at a certain time in our lives?
When you study the centenarians on this planet, the average 100-year-old is healthier than the American 70-year-old, and there's 30 years difference.
How much genes contribute to the diseases in our world? It turns out far less than 10%.
Science now is overturning some of the deepest truths that have been held for 300 plus years.
Regardless of age, whether you're sick or you're in perfect health, this information is for everyone.
The bottom line is, you've got a choice.
We were intended to be healthy and vital in the world. And if that's not happening, there is a reason.
It's a power that has been discounted since science began.
Disease is not natural. It's normal, but it's not natural.
We are more powerful than we could have ever imagined before.
I can tell you how to get healthy in one sentence.
As long as you're moving in the right direction, good things are going to happen.
Consider the possibility of infinite possibility.
What's considered impossible is just a consensus of outdated beliefs.
Self-ReClaimed helps you transform outdated beliefs. I have to share a story. I was talking to a potential new client recently, and I asked him if he had ever considered his beliefs when trying to understand why he continued to self-sabotage himself with his weight. His response was nothing I was prepared for. In fact, he answered me with a question. "Do you mean I have to change my religious beliefs in order to keep the weight off?" I am still puzzled by the fact that so many people think beliefs only relate to religion. No wonder it's hard for people to change them. They don't even know they exist unless it has to do with their religion. Of course, this isn't all people, but the majority I work with have never even considered that their issues or problems are more than likely related to a family pattern or cycle. So how can Self-ReClaimed help you? With our Self-Empowerment Toolkit system. Anything that works well usually, if not always, has a great system. The first 14 pages explain the 3 therapies mentioned earlier. In the drawer located in the back of the kit, you will find all the items related to the therapies. Let's talk a little about each element. The chrysalis cards introduce 33 words or topics that you will probably already know, such as love, faith, joy, peace, truth, and humility, and many others. However, these cards will take you beyond the definition of the word. They will provide a deep exploration of the word, including real-life experience and application. Journals, but not blank journals. These are transformation journals that will enable you to learn through guided exercises and help you document your beliefs as you go. These journals will teach you how to rewrite your story so you don't keep writing the same story over and over. First is the Caterpillar Journal. This is where you will keep track of your limiting beliefs. Some of these beliefs may come to mind quickly, whereas others may come to light as you work through the flutter exercises in your chrysalis journal. Because it may be hard to identify limiting beliefs at first, here are some examples. See if any of these sound familiar. I can't be my real self or I'll be judged. I can't fall in love or I'll get my heart broken. I can't ask for what I want or I'll be rejected. I can't trust people because they will betray me. I can't pursue my dreams because I may fail. It's too late to pursue my dreams. The most common limiting belief usually starts with I can't, but there's also it's hopeless, I'm helpless, it's useless, I'm blameless, and I'm worthless. If you believe I'm hopeless, ask, how is it possible? If you believe I'm helpless, ask, what do I already know about it? If you believe it's useless, ask, how is it desirable? If you believe I'm blameless, ask, how am I responsible? If you believe I'm worthless, ask, why do I deserve it? The bottom line is that when you rid yourself of limiting beliefs, anything you want in life becomes possible. The Chrysalis Journal is where your transformation will take place. It is an extension of the Chrysalis cards, providing guided exercises and instruction on each word or concept to better explain it. Here's an example of one of the exercises. This one is about love, teaching you how to love yourself. And please take note that there are over 150 quotes in the program to bring you some inspiration wherever you are. The third journal is the Butterfly Journal, where you will document your limitless beliefs. After learning a new way of thinking or fostering a new skill within your chrysalis, new beliefs will emerge, taking the place of the old limiting beliefs. You will find the book prescriptions on the library card pockets located on the big cardboard pages. Over 150 book titles are recommended. When you complete one of your words or concepts, if you want to learn more about it, you can read one of the suggested book titles. In the top left corner, there is an example of how the cards fit in the pockets. Once you've completed the card and you have a full understanding of the word or concept, store your card in its respective pocket to represent completion and accomplishment. Keep in mind there is no specific way or place to start. I recommend choosing a word that resonates strongly. Read both sides of the card until you feel you have a good grasp for the concept, and if you do, put it in its pocket. If not, file it back in your chrysalis card pouch and grab your chrysalis journal. The flutter exercise will bring even more clarity and a deeper understanding. Like Zoe said in the video, remember that some of your limiting beliefs may come to your conscious mind quickly, whereas others may emerge as you make your way through the program. Same with the limitless beliefs. You may think of several limiting beliefs, but in order to change them to limitless beliefs, you may have to do several exercises to become more enlightened and help you make the shift. Imagine this. If 95 to 99% of your thoughts and beliefs come from your subconscious mind, and only 1 to 5% is conscious, most everything you think about is subconscious or involuntary, a pattern, a cycle. The only way to change that thought or belief is to bring it to your conscious mind and replace it. Replace it with a thought or belief that will serve you, that will get you from where you are to where you want to be. Self-reclaim keeps you moving forward on a new path, a new journey, a new chapter, a new story. Science shows that your thoughts can literally change your brain and create new pathways. Your mind is more powerful than you might have imagined, so start using it to your advantage. Last but definitely not least, the Change Challenge cards. Pick a card daily or weekly and practice the challenge until it becomes involuntary. It's said that it takes 21 days to create a new habit, but it's also said that you can't get rid of a bad habit, you must replace it. These cards are a great intro to practicing little changes so you can tackle the bigger ones more easily. Just like anything, the more you learn, the more you practice, the more you understand, the better you will be at whatever you are trying to accomplish. Words are things, thoughts are things, and things materialize good or bad. Choose good thoughts. It will give you wings to fly.
From Japan and Mr. Masuro Emoto. Mr. Emoto became terribly interested in the molecular structure of water and what affects it. Now, water is the most receptive of the 4 elements. Mr. Emoto thought perhaps it would respond to non-physical events. So he set up a series of studies, applied mental stimuli, and photographed it with a dark field microscope. This first picture is a picture of water from the Fujiwara Dam. And this picture is the same water after receiving a blessing from a Zen Buddhist monk. Now, in this next series of pictures, Mr. Emoto printed out words, taped them to bottles of distilled water, and left them out overnight. This first photograph is a picture of the pure distilled water, just the essence of itself. These subsequent photographs, as you can see, are each different. This is the chi of love. And we move along here to thank you. And you can see where he taped that to this bottle here. But if you read Japanese, you already knew that. Now, Mr. Emoto speaks of the thought or intent being the driving force in all of this. The science of how that actually affects the molecules is unknown, except to the water molecules, of course. And it's really fascinating when you keep in mind that 90% of our bodies are water.
Makes you wonder, doesn't it? If thoughts can do that to water, imagine what our thoughts can do to us.
Rewrite your story and reclaim your life with Self-Reclaimed.